Keeper stars Tatiana Maslany and Rossif Sutherland, and it comes in at 52% on the tomato meter. That doesn't bode well, but it's directed by Osgood Perkins, who directed Monkey and Longlegs last year. So, it seems like it should be a good mix, right? And it tells the tale of a romantic anniversary trip to a secluded cabin that turns sinister when a dark presence reveals itself, forcing a couple to confront the property's haunted past. Now, the trailers for this sold me because I like Tatiana Maslany, and it does look like there's some kind of weird entity that has possessed this cabin, and it works well with the creep factor for sure in that aspect of the game, but the movie suffers in its pacing. It's slow, very slow. Okay, I don't mind a slow burn, but it meanders just a bit too long in the middle of this film where you're asking for some information from this movie so you can get more invested or keep interested in what's going on, and it just keeps on dangling you along this ridiculous scenario where we know that he's maybe involved in some kind of nefarious thing going on here because there's like this really weird cousin kind of thing happening, but she keeps on making the stupidest decisions that go against her character's best interests. I can leave now. Yeah, no, I'm not going to. I could run away now. I could call my friend and get some backup, but no, I'm not going to do that. It's one of those movies. And it's just a little bit lackluster. So I'm I gotta say that I gotta lean towards the not so good. Not the 52% not so good, though. I think the acting is the standout here from Tatiana Maslany. She's always good. Even in She-Hulk, she was the best part of She-Hulk, and it was good to see her being showcased here in this film. But the movie it doesn't really stick the landing either. We know from the beginning they established that there's some kind of ghostly entity here, some kind of supernatural threat. And look at all that blackness that they've got going on there at the end of this trailer. It just feels like it doesn't earn the ending because we meander so long with really ridiculous decisions. The creepy cousin that lives next door that just won't leave you alone. You're going to decide to let this person in your house and you don't even know them all that well? No, I don't buy it. So big strike against the writing for this movie. And I just kind of left going, I wanted to like this, but I can't. So with that being said, let's go over to the score sheet and start filling out some numbers for Keeper. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of 1 point. Acting, for the most part, well, this Yusuf Sutherland guy, or Seraph, or whatever the heck his name is, pretty deadpan. He's supposed to be. I understand that. But Tatiana Maslany is worth seeing. She does a really good job with the material that she has, but her character's written so badly, so poorly. This is the best attribute that I can give this film. And maybe a little bit for the cinematography. But the directing here, because of that cinematography, I'm going to give a point here. But the execution of the story, I can't. It's got a good sense of mood, and you are truly disturbed for her in the first act. They do all of that well. But then, as I said, it just meanders. Okay, she's sitting down in the tub. Okay. Then it's followed by a scene of her sitting down on the couch. Okay. And then it's just ridiculous things that just happen that would make you go, okay, I'm out of here now. I'm gone. And it's like the film cuts. It's got some very jarring cuts. And I understand that he's trying to use those cuts to add that feel of you don't know what's going on kind of feeling, right? Confusion. But it's not executed all that well. The story, she's worried that he's already married and she's just the side piece. Like she's not really the main interest that he has. And it's kind of like, okay, well, that's an interesting idea. But overall, what's going on here, there is a decent premise. Granted, I just felt like this script needed another rewrite. It needed an edit. The film's already 98 minutes. Yeah. You needed to get to the big payoffs sooner and then play with those payoffs. Play with them. There's going to be some loose ends in here that people will be like, and it kind of sucks because I really like Longlegs. I did. I thought it was borderline masterpiece. Monkey, it had its points. This, way. Yeah. Cinematography. As I said, it was well filmed. A lot of good framing. They used different aspect ratios to try to accent what they're trying to do. The score is mid, and that's where we sit right now for a 4.5. Let's go over to the tomato meter again and take a look at what some of the fans and critics are saying to see if it corroborates a little bit what we've been saying here. So, Slant Magazine, Osgood Perkins mistakes obtrusiveness, I don't know, for surrealism and the oppressive atmosphere for palpable tension. Yes, abstruseness. You spend a good deal of keeper forming theories of what's going on once everything is revealed. However, you wished you'd gone back that previous ignorance. Now that seems like a state of bliss. Yeah. So a little bit of confusion there with them. Like a lot of people just aren't understanding the narrative structure, right? As I said, there's some jarring cuts in here, and it really undermines itself. It's kind of like, guys, cardinal rules that everybody needs to follow here. If you are in a strange location like a new cabin or you're out camping, always check your surroundings. That's just the cardinal rule for everything. If you're at a new campsite, you're on the river somewhere, and you go out and you take a look at what's around here. You go to a secluded cabin. You don't want to check out what's in the basement or in the attic or what's going on. Why are these rooms set up so that none of the doors lock? That doesn't. No. Hey, there's a mysterious cake here. Your man cuts a piece of it, but doesn't eat a slice for himself. And he sits there and watches you go, eat that cake. And then you feel weird after. You're not suspicious that something's going on here? I mean, that's the kind of ridiculousness that Keeper is. And I can't let it get away with it. Audience reviews. GL, unnecessary creepy with a bad story. Kelsey, I do love Perkins' work, but the one was a little off. The story is fine. The CGI was not the CGI was not too amazing. The acting was stellar, but all in all, it was a great idea that felt underdeveloped. And that's the perfect right there. It was a good idea, but it just wasn't developed all that well. Like there were shades in here of some really good ideas. It just didn't land. Let's go back to the critics here and take a look at what Matt Donato said here. It's intriguing until it's not, letting an undercooked and underconceptualized dessert taint the whole meal. Yeah, and he's talking about the payoff there. He's talking about the payoff that this movie has. It doesn't feel earned because we're going to some really weird stuff with the supernatural. And it's like, well, we didn't really tee this up as well as we could have, and it just gets so bizarro. And I like bizarro, I really do. Bibiani says a slapdash effort from an otherwise great artist. Yeah, you kind of see where I'm going here. It's kind of a disappointment. That's probably the best way that I could say I can say about this. Like there were shades of that movie Bring Her Back. Of them being in the house and there's some kind of weird psychic thing going on, supernatural thing, and it's kind of like I don't know. It's an eerie feeling. It's an eerie feeling here that's going on with Keeper, but it's just it didn't land, man, and it stinks. It really stinks. So with that being said, let's not drag this out a little any more than we have to. Let's go back to the watchability factor. We're sitting at 4.5. If the premise alone caught your eye, I would say check it out. Otherwise, you can wait for streaming for this. You really can. In fact, is it cinematic enough for me to say, go see this on the big screen? No. Wait for streaming. 5 out of 10 for Keeper. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, we are also going to be reviewing Christie and The Running Man right here on Mirror Domains. I can talk a little bit about the monsters, though, for Keeper. It's like the design itself. You can see here that you could see the makeup applied to the monster. So I didn't find it particularly all that scary. I wanted to. I actually took a picture of one of the monsters that was kind of an interesting idea. I don't know if you guys can see that. Of course not. Of course you can't. Yeah, it's just kind of like, that toy from He-Man where Manny faces? It's kind of like that. There's just a face with eyes and all that stuff all over. And it's you can tell that they were trying. They were really, really trying. And it just didn't stick the landing.